For nearly 18 years, Senate Republicans have had just one leader, Mitch McConnell. But at 82 years old, he's now stepping aside. And tonight and tomorrow, Senate Republicans will be huddled behind closed doors to discuss and vote on who might replace him. Rachael Bade has tonight's prime focus.
For the first time in 18 years, Senate Republicans Wednesday will elect a new leader. Mitch McConnell's decision to step aside, igniting a ferocious lobbying campaign to replace him.
I'm going to run, Larry. I'm going to win.
I feel good about where we are, Joe.
I want to make America great again by making the Senate work again.
The significance of the role can't be overstated. Following Donald Trump's Election Day triumph, Republicans hope to leverage their control of the White House and Congress to pass a new sweeping agenda.
And that's an agenda that deals with economic issues, taxes, regulations, energy dominance, that deals with border security, securing that southern border, and obviously, as always, with national security.
For months, the race centered largely around two McConnell allies, Senator John Thune of South Dakota and Senator John Cornyn of Texas. Both hail from similar ideological persuasions. They're pragmatists, deal makers, and they raise a boatload of money for the party.
I just think leadership, largely, it is about tone. It's substance too, but it's about tone. It's about example. It's about, I think, bringing the right temperament to the work that we do around here.
I know the challenges we have in terms of $35 trillion in debt, more money being paid on interest than on the defense spending, and then obviously the broken border and so many other issues.
But Trump's sweep on Election Day emboldening MAGA-minded conservatives. They're now looking to install one of their own, or at least elicit concessions from McConnell's successor to push the entire Senate further to the right. Enter Senator Rick Scott. The Florida Republican and longtime Trump ally is also running for the position, though few in the Senate believe he stands a chance. The former Florida governor was the first lawmaker to join Trump in court during the hush money trial in New York. He's also a longtime friend of Susie Wiles, Trump's de facto campaign manager, who was just tapped for chief of staff.
Whoever's going to be the Republican leader needs to work with President Trump, so it's probably better to have a good relationship than not.
That remark is a backhanded jab at Thune, who, while considered the frontrunner in this race, has been a Trump critic in the past.
If Donald Trump is the Republican nominee, would you support him?
Well, I'm hoping, Leanne, to have other options.
Over the weekend, big-name MAGA influencers taking to X to push for Scott and upping the pressure on Senate Republicans to get in line. Some even calling GOP senators who support Thune and Cornyn traitors and threatening to primary them. The harassment infuriating Senate Republicans, two telling ABC News that the MAGA pressure campaign could hurt Scott's candidacy, not help it. MAGA members also want something else, a fight with Democrats.
I think we need to do everything we can to counter the policies and ideology of the left.
And a clean break from bipartisanship.
Calling something bipartisan doesn't make it ideal policy for Republicans to embrace.
Policy-wise, they also want serious across-the-board spending cuts.
I'm a kid that grew up in public housing. I know that government spending causes inflation. I know that if my mom was alive today, she'd be struggling because of grocery prices and gas prices and car prices and home prices. Right? That's all caused because we have almost $35 trillion worth of debt.
Perhaps in the biggest break from McConnell, who loathed government shutdowns, some Senate Republicans also want a leader who will refuse to fund the government if parts of the GOP agenda aren't included.
Do you think that McConnell undercut himself by not being willing to engage in a potential shutdown fight?
The point isn't whether someone wants a shutdown. The point is what we're willing to agree to. And if we walk into a deal too eager to come to an agreement, it's a little bit like walking into a car dealership and saying, I want this car. There is no limit on what I will pay. I must walk out of this dealership with this car today, regardless of the price. You're probably not going to get a great deal on that car.
With just hours to go before the voting begins, Rick Scott's allies are imploring Trump to endorse him for majority leader, hoping that boost could propel him to victory.
If you've got any influence with President Trump, ask President Trump to come out publicly and say he wants to work with somebody as accomplished as Rick Scott to accomplish his agenda.
Thune himself raising eyebrows, warning Trump against weighing in.
My preference would be, and I think it's probably in his best interest, to stay out of that. These Senate secret ballot elections are probably best left to senators, and he's got to work with all of us when it's all said and done.
Regardless if he does, Senate Republicans tell ABC News Trump won't have much sway because the election is secret ballot. Trump did, however, make one unusual demand, writing on Sunday, any Republican senator seeking the coveted leadership position in the United States Senate must agree to recess appointments. Ceding power to Trump to fill federal vacancies without Senate approval while they're in recess would allow Trump to install his most far-right appointments, at least temporarily. Within hours of the request, all three candidates essentially agreed.
Moving at a fast pace. Our thanks to Rachael Bade for that.